Hey everyone, today we're going to learn how to compare and order fractions. And we're going to do this by using the help of some fraction circles as well as a number line. Now with the number line, you're going to notice it's a little bit different from what we usually draw because you're going to notice the range of the number line is actually very small. We start from 0 and we end immediately at the number 1, which means all the fractions we're going to be working on today will be able to fit within this number line. So the first question I want you to figure out is, what is the benchmark number we're going to use in the very middle of our number line? Well, if we think about it, the only number that can go there, or the only fraction that can go in there, is 1/2. Because if this end is the number 1, representing 1 whole, and this end is 0, representing nothing, or 0 parts, or 0 wholes, then the only number that can go in the middle is going to be 1/2, or in this case, 1/2 of the circle. So let's take a closer look at the 1 whole fraction circle on the end of our number line. You're going to notice that there are many different fractions that are scattered across this circle, but there's one thing that they all have in common, and it's the fact that the top number, the numerator, and the bottom number, the denominator, are always the same number. Now, why is that the case? Well, we think about what 1 whole really means. It basically just means that we have all the pieces or all the parts that are needed to create 1 whole of whatever object we're talking about. So let's pretend that this circle is a cake. If I were to cut the cake into 2 slices, that would mean that I still have both slices of that cake that are needed to create 1 whole cake again. If I were to cut the cake into 4 slices, that would mean that I still have all 4 slices that make up the same cake. I haven't given it away to anyone yet. I haven't eaten any of it myself. So we can actually slice this cake into as many slices as we want, and as long as we have all the slices together, we can still represent it with 1 whole as a fraction. So if you remember from the last video, the denominator represents how many total pieces there are, and the numerator represents how many of those pieces you have. So if I cut the cake into 4 pieces, and I still have all 4 pieces left, that means I still have the whole cake. Same with if I were to cut the cake into half, and there's 2 slices, and I have both of those slices, that means I still have 1 whole cake. Now this is the part where sometimes people get a little confused. They're going to think that 4/4 is greater than 2/2, simply because the numbers here are greater than the numbers here. But we know that's not true, because when we cut a cake, the more times we cut that cake, the smaller the slices become. If you notice, 1/2 of the cake is going to be double the size of 1/4 of the cake. So just because you have more slices of the cake doesn't mean that you have more cake in total.